Good evening, dear viewers. Today I want to show you a game between Karl Hampe and Philip Meitner. This is a famous game I came across when I was studying Vienna game. Vienna game, I was thinking that this is kind of more solid opening for white when they want to avoid I don't know, some kind of activity for black, and in the later just start action on the king side. But I was shocked when I saw how many just wild and crazy games happen in this Vienna game, when they virtually all the time sacrifice piece on move 4 or 3 even. And then I found this game which is totally crazy from the beginning to the end, and I never would consider just showing you a draw, but this is some spectacular draw. You will be really interested. I think it's a really good game. Alright, I don't know these players. What I've found out that this draw has repeated actually several times in the late 20th century, but these players definitely knew the game, and they just for fun repeated it, so they learned this game by heart. Alright, let's get moving. And e4, e5, knight c3, and bishop c5. So I think that's one of the best moves for black here. Just nice developing move. And if white plays f4, then the problem for white is that they cannot castle kingside really. So this is kind of counter-attacking move. So more standard is to play knight f6, and after f4 something like d5. Yeah. Alright, but it's played today, bishop to c5, and a bit strange looking move, but I don't know, it's still like okay, it's okay move. Knight to a4. So immediately white wants to get rid of this bishop. If you apply bishop to b6, then white just takes it and have advantage. Or if you move back to e7, then it's knight f3, and white has some maybe a little bit better chances. But the position is equal, objectively speaking. So knight a4, and in this position black just took on f2. And in Vienna game we always see that bishop c5 and different variations of this sacrifice on f7. And this is like black is playing tempo down and they sacrifice a piece, and this is a nice sacrifice. According to engine it's like zeros, it shows zeros. So king takes, and obviously queen to h4 check. So the problem is that we cannot play g3 really, because queen a3, and we attack the a4 and h1. So just black is a little bit better, and we don't want to give up this this pawn here. If king goes to f3, then I think this is what I would play, and just take this knight here, and black is winning. So in this position white played the most strongest move, king to a3. So black continued queen f4 check. Again, if we go back to e2, then white loses the knight. So king d3 and d5. black is playing very good. So they sacrificed a piece. They just put white's king in the center, and very aggressively they played this developing move d5 and threatening e4. So the ancient proposes here to play queen to e1, but white played, I think, much more natural move, and it's okay move, king c3. So with the idea to play d3 and just also be ready to play bishop to b5 check. Black took the pawn. Ancient suggests to play d4 and ask what white is doing, because if white plays something like queen b3, then well, black can take the pawn, and if it starts running, then unfortunately we cannot run very far, because c3, for instance, takes here, and queen takes a4, winning the queen. So not that easy to run away with this king, but black played the queen takes c3, and in this position white Angel recommends to play d4. I think that's a good move, but white decided to run away with the king because they didn't see the idea of black. What can they do? They thought that, okay, I'll play king to b3 and just a3 and run away, because c4 is controlled by the bishop on b1. So I think white was pretty confident they have a good position here. Knight to a6, threatening, starting this plan, which black saw a3, and in this position black played an excellent move. They just took this knight here. They took the knight. Now the material is black is 2 pawns up, so you have to take, and obviously knight to c5 check, so not letting the king escape to b3. So king b4 and a5. So let's try to play something like king to b5, then b6. For instance, we need to protect from king to b3, then a5, and it's mate, game over. So white played king b3, a5, knight c5, and in this position black found the only move here to continue, which is knight to e7, so protecting the d5. And notice how these pawns here, they don't allow the king to run backwards, so they keep this line, thin line, which doesn't allow king to escape. So knight e7 and bishop b5. Again, this is the only move for white to survive. If you do something like, let's play d4, then it's mate into check and checkmate. So you see that when you don't have this color bishop, in this case it's dark square bishop, then we just put our pawns on dark squares and we take all other squares with the light square, with our bishop, and it's game over for white. So and in this position white found the only defense here. They gave check, king to d8, because you don't want obviously to exchange more pieces, then you cannot mate the king. and bishop to c6, which is an excellent move. I wouldn't ever thought of it. I'm a little bit worried about this game after I saw this move, which is total computer stuff. You just sacrifice a piece for basically for some time. You buy a little bit of time, so these pieces are not coordinated that well. So b6, king b5, and knight takes c6. Another thing about this position is that this is like Stockfish 11, and they show like everything wins for white, that white has over 10 points of advantage, and after just obvious king takes c6, then it shows zeros. Well, sometimes engines they just don't understand chess, so he took. And in this position, if you can find this drawish move, you can pause the video. Alright, so the drawish move is bishop to b7. So another sacrifice. So if you see that black has sacrificed a piece and a queen, and now they sacrifice second piece. And if white takes on b7, then it's mate in a couple of moves. King to d7, so queen g4, and just king d6, and engine gives up the queen because it cannot stop the mate on b8 with the second rook. So so obviously black saw this and they played back to b5, and they just repeated this game with a draw. Alright, so this is really an Immortal game. If you see that black sacrificed one piece on f2, queen on a4, they sacrificed bishop on b7, and still the resources were enough to make a draw. Alright, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.